Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monday Night Video Non-Interview Podcast. Tonight, we got a special night for our haters. So, all you haters out there listening, watching, this is for you guys. One Chaloa.
Hey, so look, guys, we like doing what we do. Obviously, we're past 600 subs, so thank you for that. We want to get to the thousand sub. My bad, not $1,000. But anyways, we run into a lot of haters like all the time. I swear to God, it's all the time, and like they all blend together because they say like some of the same shit all the time. But we just wanted to like show you guys some of this like stuff because it's pretty funny. And I used to get really mad in the past, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I still get kind of mad. But all you can do is kind of just laugh at this stupid shit because it's pretty preposterous. So we're gonna share a screen and just go through a couple of these. So just sit back, relax, and enjoying some laughs at these losers. So this is early on in my journey. Like I didn't know what tribe I was from. I hadn't done any of my genealogy just yet. So in this post, I had gotten this mackerel wheat, right, and this native pride shirt, and I was pretty happy with everything. Like this is really early on in my journey, like back in like July in 2020. So I was saying, hey, soy indio, tengo la cara de nopal, soy prieto. So basically saying I'm American Indian, I got a cactus nose or face, I got darker brown skin. I'm not ashamed of these insults in the Spanish language. I am what I am, Native American. The Coahuiltecans lost their tribal identity. And so I joined the Present Mexica. So what I meant by that is there's a group on Facebook called Mexica Tribe. I joined it. They called themselves a tribe for the tribalists. I'm still part of the group. It's a pretty nice group, but at the time I didn't have like a tribe or anything. So I was just basically making it clear like, hey, I just know I'm Native American. I'm still like early. I'm still going into this. I don't really know anything yet, guys. Like I'm still early on in my stuff. And the Coahuiltecans, they do exist. There's an organization called the Tapilum Coahuiltecan Nation. So if you are a Coahuiltecan, I would try to join them. Otherwise, you shouldn't be claiming to be Coahuiltecan. Like you should probably just say you're a descendant. But anyways, I like posted this picture, and I got a lot of love, and it's pretty great. But I did get some hate. This shit. So as you're about to see, let me just scroll all the way down here. Let me see here. Well, we'll go back to that guy in a minute. But anyways, somebody commented. They were like, I think somebody said that I looked like pretty Southern European, like Spaniard or whatever, which I think I kind of do, like facially. Like I have some European facial features, but I got a lot of native facial features, and I lean more towards the native side, in my opinion. And that's what most people seem to say. But anyway, they were kind of like picking me apart. And this because I posted the DNA results. So this chick said, no, he doesn't. He looks very Native American. He would not pass anywhere in Southern Europe. Too dark, facial features, very Native American. And somebody was like, he obviously looks mestizo. He wouldn't pass for full Native American either. And then like this is this hater that I really hated. You're about to see. But it was this British guy, and this first comment I'll read aloud. Mark is going to read the other ones. But he was like, yeah, there's zero doubt about him being mestizo. Couldn't pass for full either. Interesting that he repudiates the European side of him, though, when it's like around 40%. And I was like, so I replied to him, and I don't think this is going to be such a fucking big deal. And I was like, look, bro, I just simply opt for simplicity with racial identity, just like how a mixed or light-skinned black person does. Most say they're black. It's the same situation. Like, in addition, though, there's a socially ingrained attitude in Mexico that being whiter or lighter is better. This stems from the social Spanish colonial caste system where mestizos were superior to full bloods, blacks and natives. Additionally, racist works like the cosmic race were anti-native and extol being mixed is better. I reject this wholeheartedly, and I got like 7 upvotes. And then he replied and only got 1 upvote because he got like downvoted. But Marcus will take it away here.
That's here with the James Corbin image. Differences with African Americans in their identity is an ethno-cultural one, not racial. They also typically have much less European admixture than Mexicans do. Here in Britain, for example, someone half black and half white will almost always identify as just that, or mixed for short. Mexican culture is obviously through the blend of Spanish and indigenous culture. Spanish influence probably dominates in most areas and in most respects, though as I am sure you know, there are a few, not many areas where you can still find pure or nearly pure indigenous Mexicans living in a largely traditional lifestyle. Identity is a complex issue, but at the end of the day, it's sort of a mutual understanding between how you see yourself and how others see you. Personally, I would find it hard to see you simply as an Indio, but perhaps some Mexicans find it easier.
All right, so before we delve into this, I'm just gonna do something real quick, guys. This is how stupid y'all sound when you say you're a blend. Like I picture this stupid shit in my head. I'm just saying. Anyways, going forward. So I was like, the average African American is 24% European. I got an article published on the Latino identity issue, and then I linked it. I was like, the unity of the Black community in the U.S. is racial, but you can give it another label if it suits you. This guy was trying to sound so highbrow. He's like, ethnocultural. Ethnocultural. I'm like, dude, like, shut the fuck up, dude. Ethnoculture, my ass, it's racial. But I was like, Mexican culture is actually more indigenous than Spanish, with many of the terms coming from Nahua and the practices from the indigenous side. Additionally, to be registered and fully fledged member of an American Indian tribe in the U.S., for example, you can have as low as 7% blood, though required to vary by tribe, but these typically are nowhere near 50%. These tribe members are not called mestizo or mixed, they're called American Indians, even if they are majority white, so get out of here with your double standards. Our racial identity as Native Americans has been overlooked and extirpated due to colonialism. The very concept of being mixed is a byproduct of the Spanish caste system. They created a so division and keep themselves in power. Groups like, like Identify Native and Brown Continent back then, I was looking into them before, seek to reconnect Southern natives to their indigenous roots, and they were founded by Northern natives, which is true. We don't need your permission or approval to call ourselves Native or identify with our race. So back then I had there's many Native groups, Brown Continent being one of them. I kind of like follow more of a moderate position than that, just throwing that out there. But anyways, Alex responded with,
Yeah, and the average European admixture in Mexicans is 48%. My point stands. You clearly know little about African American identity. There's obviously a racial element, but it's fundamentally ethnic. Many individuals who look more white than black and have up to 80% European ancestry in some cases have historically and still do get considered black in the US because of their ethnic affiliation by both fellow blacks and other ethnic groups. So the language, religion, music, urban lifestyle don't count to culture, eh? Guess we'll have to ignore all those things for convenience.
Cut real quick. Why, like, this guy's this white Britain guy, right, white British guy. Like, why does he have such a personal stake in this? Like, why is he getting this worked up to where he needs to get this snarky, bro? That's what I'm laughing about.
It's because we British used to have an empire on the whole planet covered. What do they call it? The sun never sets on the British Empire.
The sun never sets. So we have to, like, they did all this damage in the past, and this guy's like, dude, it's like, you should be the last fucker that should be fucking trying to gatekeep anybody or say shit, dude. Like, y'all people did enough damage to be fucking saying stuff today.
Don't insult my history of the Queen.
All right, we'll continue.
No mention of the qualification for Native American tribal membership, best to use the correct term, just highlights my former point. It's about ethnic identity, not racial. Race is only one component of ethnic identity, a somewhat important one, but certainly not the only one. Equally, You could be a much higher percentage of Native American and not recognized by a tribe if you are culturally far removed from them and their way of life. There are prominent cases of this. I have not heard of anyone with very low. Wait, you moved. Very low. Where'd you go? Oh, very low level
Oh, no.
ancestry accepted as tribe members without very strong social cultural connections. Now this hurts. And your racial identity has not been overlooked. On the contrary, it was highlighted even by the Spanish during their rule, albeit in a negative way. It's been celebrated for a long time since then. Only personally, with an inferiority complex like you, kicking up a fuss. People who find it too hard to accept their mixed race. Being mixed race is zero problem unless you make it one. The funny thing is, you seem to have no awareness of your own history. You're identifying with another conquered people, Mexica, to which you have less blood tie than the Spanish. One you one who arrived in Mexico only a few hundred years before the Spanish and brutally and cruelly subjected the native people to the point that there were many actively willing to help a small band of men from across to the sea overthrow their he misspelled the Mexica overlords. Indeed, they were no better than the Spanish in most ways, and worse in some. Finally, you don't need my approval, but you certainly need the approval and consensus of people as a whole, and in particular Mexicans. If you want to identify in this overly simplistic way, good luck, wink face. Oh God, this guy's annoying. Oh my God.
Who the fuck uses like a fucking semicolon, like dash and a fucking parentheses that like, bro, are you fucking stupid? Are you like this old ass 60-year-old? Like nobody fucking uses that shit anymore. Number one, like, so you got horrible fucking style. Number two, it's like this guy just doesn't. He says I have no awareness of my own history. It's like at the time, yeah, I needed to read much more of my history, but like all that he was saying was stupid because I had explained in the post, like I joined the Mexica group on Facebook, like as in because they were a tribe for the tribalists. So like it's not even like I was saying I was Mexica or anything, anyways. And this guy was just being a little asshole, like acting like I was. And then these are all just common misconceptions. Like he hasn't actually read any good history and accurate history books if he thinks that the Aztec were mostly not better than the Spanish. They were mostly better than the Spanish in a lot of ways. Like in some ways, like yeah, I guess you could argue that they were kind of bad, but most of it like is really exaggerated. Like so, the thing with the human sacrifices is, I recommend you guys read Fifth Son. It's by Camilla Townsend. It's a really good book. It really goes into the society that the Aztec slash Mexica had. The reasons why they would sacrifice people were largely political. So the king would have many sons, right? And many wives, and so the wives and their families would want the kid, those like particular kids, to ascend to the throne, right? So there was a lot of backstabbing. There was a lot of Game of Thrones political bullshit going on, and so the Mexica would sacrifice political enemies a lot of the times. Or they also had a culture to where they thought that they were living under the fifth son, so they thought it was necessary for sacrifice to happen for the world to continue as well. Okay, so the society extolled sacrifice because even the Mexica gods had sacrificed themselves. Like, or it wasn't gods actually. It was a guy named Nana Watson and another warrior that sacrificed themselves for the fifth world, to start again, right? So ingrained in their society was a concept that sacrifice was an honor. So like he's missing a lot of context with this, and he's just repeating bullshit that you would find in high school history textbooks, which is that they were completely awful and blah 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 and all this. And it's just like it's just the arrogance, dude. That's what gets me. It's like, dude, you're from Britain and you're trying to fucking tell me who I am. Like, well, who the fuck do you think you are to fucking be here trying to tell me who I am? Like that's what really pissed me off. And this was really early on in my journey. Like I have never forgotten the conversation with this stupid fucker ever. But yeah.
I feel like a lot of people like to, be on their high horse, especially those, from, and unfortunately, countries that did do a lot of colonization.
Right, and that's the thing. Like the UK did a lot of fucked up shit, and here you have a descendant, like a British guy, trying to get in the way of somebody that is completely across the whole world, racially identifying as Native American. It's like, and he wants to put his stupid like 2 cents in it. It's like, what business do you have fucking saying I'm not? Like, you don't know anything, So like, it's just this shit's what pissed me off. But anyways, I responded to him. Basically, well, this is what I told him. I'll quickly sum it up for you guys. I was like, the absolute irony of some white British guy trying to tell me how I don't know anything about my race, culture, history, or matters, or how matters are in the U.S. When I live in Alabama and grew up here, I experienced racism firsthand. I struggled to accept my identity as Mexican because I was found to be funny and inferior for years. Now that I've finally been told by natives that I am Native, not a Latino, this British guy's trying to tell me what I am. I went to a university that was predominantly black. I've supported my friends in their fight for justice. They unite as being black by their race. That is the norm, and that is how they see it and frame it. You can keep calling it ethnicity, but that is not how it is in the United States. It's about race, which is 100% true. Black people have never said that being black is an ethnicity or as ethnoculture. It's always been a racial identity. So this guy is an idiot for even saying otherwise. But of course, he wouldn't understand anything because he's fucking the UK, so he has no business fucking commenting on any of this shit. So yeah, then I was like, tribal memberships has racial requirements. I know they are sovereign nations, but the point is that they are not treated differently in terms of race. They can have low Native American blood, but members are still considered American Indians racially according to the census. This isn't separated into an ethnic category. I literally say why I identify with Mexica. My own tribe, at least my knowledge, was destroyed by the Spanish. This is before I knew the Tap Hill and Quahuateca Nation was even around. I joined the community called Mexica Tribe, which are those for the tribe list. There are 13,000 members. So it was that Facebook group that I was talking about, guys. So I was like, being mixed is no problem. The problem is when people like you want to keep us in this limbo where we can't identify with anything. People like you prevent us from uniting as a people to undo colonialism. And yes, our race is often overlooked all the time. Ask a guy in the US what my race is, and he's going to say Latino or Hispanic. Those aren't races, and neither is mixed or mestizo. And I was like, yeah, thank God I don't need the approval of a white person telling me what I am. I actually do have the approval of many other natives. So, yeah. So that was just one example. That was probably the worst exchange I've had. Like, this guy really made me mad. I don't know what you think about that shit, Marcus, but that shit was really toxic, at least to me from the get-go.
I feel like he was really trying to get under your skin and leaving those unnecessary 3-paragraph responses.
Yeah, like that's what I didn't get, dude. I was actually out driving. I forgot what I was doing. No, I remember my girlfriend was on deployment in Cuba, and I was literally driving to the post office to ship her a gift I got her for her. And then comes this fucker with this paragraph long responses trying to be a bitch. And I remember I was so mad, dude. Like, I shipped the stuff to my girlfriend. I got in my car, and I didn't drive home. I was fucking texting up a storm because I was so mad at this guy. Because I was like, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But there's one other guy in here in this thread. It's not as long, guys. But this guy was legit like white supremacist, which I think a lot of people kind of are. A lot of these haters, even if they aren't outright about it. But this guy said, well, Marcus, if you want, you can read my responses, and I can read the guy's stupid comments.
Wait, am I reading this? You are mixed race.
I can read the guy's hateful comments, and you can read my response if you want. Or...
Okay, yeah. That's I was waiting for you. Cool.
Okay, all right. You're mixed race. You're half Native American and half white. You're the standard definition of mestizo. Calling yourself a Native American, all you want, but the real natives, or at least mostly full-blooded Native Americans, will laugh at you.
And you're the standard definition of a fool. You have no right to define me or apply double standards to me or anyone else of mixed race. Hundreds of natives clearly think you're wrong, and your whole concept of the mestizo is a Spanish invention from the racist caste system.
Let's see. I think. Oh shit! It says comment removed from moderator. Well, anyways, let me see. This guy was just being okay. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, the moderator removed the comments, so we'll skip over. Basically, what this guy ended up saying was like he kept going back and forth with me on this one, but he ended up saying that I was ignoring my better half, and he was talking about the Spaniard half. So he was really actually just being white supremacist when he said that shit. That shit's pretty blatant, in my opinion. You're ignoring your better half, like pretty racist.
At least his comments got deleted, so they don't have to worry about the rest of his crap. That means a lot more
Yeah.
people agreed with him.
Yeah, maybe somebody reported that the mod just deleted. But yeah, I would, because it wasn't deleted right away. I guess it got deleted later over time.
Mhm.
Other than that, there was this other guy commented in Spanish down here, and he said in Spanish, "No seas mamón, eres apenas mitad indígena, no caigas en lo de ridículo." So he's like, don't be basically don't be like a rude bitch. Basically, he's like, you're barely half indigenous. Don't be ridiculous. And I was like, and I told him, I was like, why don't you stop being an asshole? I was like, I have more indigenous blood than anything else. Like, you guys think really weirdly in Mexico. Like here in the US, like if you're not white, you're the race of your color. Like if you really want to understand my viewpoint, like go read my freaking article, like published article. And he never responded back to me. And I had to translate it in Spanish, so there was no excuse for him not to.
Of course, he didn't respond back.
Of course he didn't. Like after he saw the fucking facts, research, he didn't want to fucking say shit.
Substance back. It shows that they're pretty weak-minded individuals.
It does. Now, this is like, okay, so this guy's comments got deleted, guys. This is somebody recent. Marcus, do you actually want to talk about this guy? This guy that made the alt accounts?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, this is the easiest, I would say, if not, yeah, the number one most easiest argument to dismantle as like indigenous native people is when someone comes up to us, not someone comes up to us, but like when someone leaves a comment and being like, hey guys, you can't be native, you're mixed with European, you're mixed with Spanish or something of that nature, or Portuguese. And they hold the Spanish, like Portuguese blood levels of something that makes it so that we cannot be indigenous or native. It's quite silly. And Juan and I, both of our opinions, because it's a very irrelevant, use of an argument. Because
it is like they act like it's a magical potion or something. Like Portuguese in Spain, like that blood is no different from any other fucking European blood. Like, and they act like that will invalidate us. But having English blood doesn't invalidate people in the U.S. Like natives in the U.S. It doesn't validate them. But this guy like tried to pick me apart because I have my DNA results out there or whatever. But he tried to say I wasn't even mestizo. He was like, "Oh, you're a Pardo because you have like black ancestry," which I do have black ancestry. It's pretty cool. I found plenty of black ancestors through genealogy. But like, it's like, bro, like you're trying to like, it's just so racist. Like you're trying to fucking fit me into this little box, like fucking Pardo. It's like it's just so weird, dude. Like you are legit socially awkward weird for fucking trying to do that. Like you got issues. Is what I'm saying to this guy right now. But yeah, he made alternate accounts because we blocked him, and he's tried to comment on our channel multiple times, and he keeps making Reddit accounts over and over, try to attack us. But the thing is, like it's the same argument, bro. I legit told him, I was like, what did I fucking tell him this shit? It might have got deleted, actually. It seems like a lot of this did. Oh yeah, no, it's here. I was like, you've tried to take us down multiple times, and each time we've absolutely decimated you in every argument. You'll lose every time. I've argued against 1,000 people like you that repeat the same easily defeatable points go home, which is a fact. Like me and Marcus, we like these arguments are not original. They have no substance. Like all these points, I will always win these arguments. Marcus will always win these arguments because we actually have counters. We have substance to what we are saying. Because all you haters do is just repair it the same thing over and over again. You don't even think critically about it.
And he called you a traitor for being Tlaxcalan.
Oh yeah, he called me a traitor for being Tlaxcalan, and I was like, that's like, I'm like, dude, I don't know, you're just stupid. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you. Like that guy's just fucking stupid, dude. Like yeah, I'm aware of like that the Tlaxcalans like betrayed the Mexica, but they thought they were going to take advantage of the Spaniards, and that didn't work out. Either way, I'm proud of being Tlaxcalan because they were badass warriors. So I'm not gonna feel ashamed for having that ancestry. Like I'm primarily I am Guachichil. I'm literally part of a Guachichil tribe. If I had to pick, I'm always Guachichil. If I had to pick between the two, but I don't have to pick between the two because I can still acknowledge I have Tlaxcalan ancestry and I can be proud of that, and I am. So.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, the book that I showed, I think, in a few videos earlier, it was about the conquistador and their tales of going through Mexico. They literally, I wish I returned the book back, but they talked about how the Tlaxcalans, they pretty much had them chained up. So when Pedro Alvarado went to Guatemala to conquer Guatemala with the Tlaxcalans and, his conquistador buddies, they had those Tlaxcalan, a lot of them like chained up and a lot died. Many of them were not given proper food, so more of them died. The women were sent to be the conquistadors, of course, against their will. God knows what happens to the children. They probably died too. So the Tlaxcalans also, a lot of them got as you could say, the crappy end of the stick.
Yeah, and not all the Tlaxcalans wanted to side with the Spaniards. There was I believe, the king's son for the Tlaxcala rebelled against his father, and he was executed by his own father. There was other people that joined them. They didn't want to side with the Spanish in the conflict, but they did. So, like I said, either way, I'm still proud of that blood. They were mighty warriors. Whatever you say about them, they were still mighty warriors. So. This is another guy. He spread a bunch of false BS. Oh, that's my response. My bad. Okay, so all right, I'll read this one and we can talk about this. I'll read both the things.
I got blocked from a YouTube channel. These two advocate that people, Mexican/Chicanos, all identify as native based on phenotypes. They had this person that calls himself Clear Bear and identifies as Kamyai of the Mexico side of the border. But I know people from that community that you never even heard of them. They also run a pro-ness.
That's private. Yeah, okay, that's all he had to say. And then he literally put us on blast because he showed a picture of that time, the thumbnail of me, Marcus, with Clear Bear Koali. And that shit's fucking funny because we don't run Mexica Tribe. I wish I was an admin. There's 13,000 members in there, but I'm not an admin of Mexica, and neither is Marcus. So that's really stupid. Number one. And we never say people identify based off phenotypes. We just say, if you fucking look native, you're probably native. It's not really that hard to put together. If you were from Mexico, if you're from Guatemala, you're from fucking Peru, and you look Native American, you still think, hater, think. What else are they? So
yeah, the problem with this post is that one, he's assuming that we've run something that we clearly do not, and two, saying how pretty much that using the all identity as native based on phenotypes. He's using that argument, which again is pretty easy to dismantle. And then when he talks about knowing, when he brought up Clear Bear and said this false information as well.
Right, and see, I just thought that was stupid. It's okay, how big is the Kumeyaay community? I don't know. I mean, I'm surely it's a couple hundred people or thousands, right? So if you just know one or two people and they don't happen to know Clear Bear, because I highly doubt everybody in that fucking tribe knows absolutely everybody by name and by heart. So just because the one guy doesn't know about Clear Bear, suddenly Clear Bear is a culture stealing fraud. That's a big leap. That's really stupid, to be honest. But yes. Go ahead, Marcus.
From a logical perspective, he actually got us more views. So
he did get us more views, and our subs only increased anyways. It's not like we even lost any subs from that shit. But that shit was really funny.
I mean, I'm sure people have done that before when they don't realize they're just getting us more views. And if they really were intending to get us dislikes on videos, it didn't work out.
It really didn't. It didn't do anything. That was one of our more popular videos. We had over 1,000 views on that. But I responded, like, I made a post, like, because I haven't blocked on Facebook, but anyway, I made a post right above it, and literally everybody that commented on this, but there's people defending us in that, which I really think those people, you guys are the real bros. But I made a post right above him, and everybody liked my post and commented their support. So whatever he tried to accomplish there, I dismantled. And Marcus was helping me out too. It's always easier when it's 2-on-1. But I said I wanted to address a few things said by a certain someone I have blocked. He alleges we only say native identity hinges on phenotypes. We've never said that on Indigenous podcasts. We simply say that it can be a big indicator of being racially native for people to look in the mirror. If you're from Mexico and you look Indigenous, you probably are Indigenous. I mean, that's pretty common sense. We encourage people to explore that and to take those first steps in reclaiming their native identity. We don't like the term mestizo because it has been used as a tool for identity erasure, has led to discrimination in Central and South American countries, and so is much division. The above poster absolutely hates Chicanos and Mexicans when he was one in the past. He's a turncoat. He doesn't even think we're Indigenous in the slightest. We don't run a pro-asset group. When he's talking about Mexica tribe, I don't know. Maybe he got banned because no one likes him. That's probably what happened.
Here's his problem, and he's only aiding colonialism when he isn't for, people such as you and I, as wanting to, re-indigenize and say that we're, racially native. Again, we're not trying to impede on anyone's rights or tribal groups, and we're not saying that. I mean, at least you and I.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, we're of Lakota or of any native tribes up here. We're just saying that we are native, Indigenous. We're not asking for benefits, of course not. So going back, he is pushing us in this. He wants us to be this mestizaje, mixed hybrid. And I won't go into it. But
what's crazy though is, like, I mean, we're not going to name this individual because we have more respect, right? Unless he's going to fire shots like that first. But here's the thing. We know what he looks like. He I would say he looks slightly more native than me, like around 60-ish% or something. But Marcus looks significantly more native than him. So it's like how can he like be so? How can you reconcile that in your own brain? How can you be like that intellectually dishonest to where you're going to look at somebody like you, Marcus, and be like, I'm Indigenous, even though I have less Indigenous DNA and blood than you do, and you're not Indigenous, you're a mestizo. How does that make sense in somebody's brain? I don't understand it.
They just don't understand logic, apparently.
I guess not. Like, I mean, yeah, it's just stupid, guys. Like, it's just shit like this. And us reclaiming Native American identity does not threaten any tribes. We have never on this podcast ever said, go claim a tribe that you don't belong to. Like, we have never said, hey, everybody, start saying that you're from the Navajo. Start saying you're Apache. Start saying you're Lakota. No, we have never said that stupid shit. Never said anything like that. What have we said on this podcast? We say you are racially Native American. That is a fact. Number two, if you're going to claim a tribe, make sure you have the evidence to back that up. And there's always caveats that I've thrown. I've always said this from the get-go. If the tribe exists, you have to join the tribe in order to claim that, because otherwise you're disrespecting them. Otherwise, you can only say you're a descendant of them. Okay, you have to make the effort to try to join that tribe and do what you can. If they don't accept you, that's their choice. They have that sovereignty to do that. But if the tribe doesn't exist and you're all that's left, of course, claim the tribe because you are reviving what's dead. And obviously, if the tribe exists and they accept you, you're good. I mean, that's what happened with me. Like, I didn't know that Wachusett existed. I found out they did, and they accepted me. And I've done all the steps right. So, like, it doesn't threaten anybody. Like, if we have no tribes, we're just saying we're Native American. Like, how does that threaten any sovereignty for any other nations? We're not going around saying we're Lakota. So we're not flooding the ranks or like acting like the abocentrics, you know what I mean? Like acting like frauds. Like, we're just saying we're racially Native American. Like, that doesn't threaten anybody. It doesn't threaten anybody's sovereignty.
Oh, but it does threaten people when they feel that we're like forcing those that they would consider, mixed race and making them pick a side.
Yeah, here we go with that. See, here's the thing, guys. We've always said this on here. But like, the thing I've always said is that I'm fighting for the right for people to be able to make a choice. And here's the thing. Everybody's always identified as white, and that's never been an issue. Look at the census. Look at over 20 million Hispanics identified as white. I don't see anybody gatekeeping them saying that they're not white. I don't see any of that shit. I don't see anybody complaining that, oh, don't say you're mixed, like as in gatekeeping actively. We don't actively gatekeep somebody. If they say that they're mixed or mestizo, we've never said, oh no, you're not. You're native. We've never tried to gatekeep people. We just spread awareness about the word mestizo. And then we encourage people, hey, I think you should lean more towards your native side. You can do it. Like, don't listen to all the haters. And it's funny because the only side that ever gets gatekeep is the native side. Everybody and their mom saying why you can't be indigenous. But yet nobody gatekeeps you from saying that you're white and Hispanic, right? So what the fuck's up with that? So
maybe they all secretly work for like the CIA and the government, and they all want to be native to be a threat to them. So all
I
like work at the Pentagon, probably.
But yeah. Well, apparently we put guns to people's heads and we force them choose.
Choose to which side now or else.
Choose the side.
Let them live in fantasy world. That's fine.
Yeah, dude. This next one, this shit has me rolling. Marcus, you want me to read this in my dumb voice, or do you want to read this?
I'll let you read it, man.
All right. This is from a guy we call Rooster. Marcus will give more context about this guy, about how he stalked Marcus. But let me just read this comment. This shit's so funny. He was commenting on one of Clear Bear's videos, by the way. But we were just cropping out his stuff because again, we have self-respect and respect for others.
Bro, I'm a big fan of your work. I follow you on IG, but I disagree a little. Mexican is a nationality, Hispanic Latino is culture, and mestizo just means mixed. And as a Mexican born and raised, not Chicano or Mexican American, I can tell we only use the term Mexican because that's what we are. Any race can be Hispanic. Only people born in Spanish-speaking countries, and that includes indigenous people, except those that don't speak Spanish as a native language, or Hispanic. And mestizo and criollo are terms Mexicans know what they mean. But calling somebody mestizo and criollo in the streets, it's rude. And that's because we don't care about race like in the USA. Yes, discrimination exists in Mexico, but it's different than in the USA. Little caveat. Racism, it doesn't exist in Mexico. He's kind of angling towards that. There's literally a whole book. Read it. It's called Mexico Racista by Federico Navarrete. It is a huge problem. There is racism in Mexico. So stop playing that fucking lie. Anyways. I'm a mixed person, mestizo, Mexican and Hispanic, and I like my indigenous side too. Some people like this guy, Marcus Grewell, likes to talk a lot of lies about Mexico, and he's not even Mexican. And as a Mexican, that pisses me off. He said mestizos don't exist. And I showed him pics of Mexican mestizos and some white accents, and he still denied it. He called me Spanish. He called me Spanish. I don't know if it was the same guy, but there's another Facebook page called Brown Continent. I confronted this guy, and he told me two things that would piss any Mexican. Oh, fuck, my bad. He said I had to quit Spanish language, and he insulted Mexican flag. Spanish is the only fluent language I speak in most of my family. How the fuck can this guy ask me that? That guy is no different than those white supremacists. And yes, I have a screenshot of that. If you want your message to be heard and accepted by Mexicans and any other Hispanic, one thing you don't do is shit on our language, Spanish, and our flag. Okay, I'm not a hater. I understand your point, but you should understand ours and believe me, we are not colonized like everybody called me. We know our roots are indigenous. All Mexicans know that. But that doesn't make us less Hispanic because Mexican culture includes Spanish language and tradition and blood in many cases. Peace.
I don't even know what to say after that.
That shit was so funny, dude. Like, I don't remember you ever telling people you had to stop speaking Spanish and you couldn't fucking, and you insulting the Mexican flag. I don't ever remember you doing that.
No, you can't see me saying that. I never. Oh my god.
Dude, the thing that makes me laugh, bro, is just the audacity. This guy really be going to people's channels and he be name dropping. He's like,
Marcus Grewell, Look, it's cool.
It's like, dude, like, bro,
Yeah, this
like,
guy. I won't comment much about this guy because it's like, I don't. He's not worth it. But obviously, I never said those things, and this man's obviously extremely delusional. Oh gosh.
dude, this is what you did to him, dude. This is what you mind fucked him, dude, like Itachi did to Kakashi. You in his head, dude. You just stabbed him in his body over and over, calling him, saying that he's not mestizo, dude, and he just passed out and like suffered and like cried and died, bro. That's what you did to him, dude. That's why he's like, he's just traumatized. He's like, look, it's cool.
Living in his head rent free.
Yeah, dude.
It's nice in there. Not really. Get me the hell out.
Yeah, dude. It's and dude, guys, yeah, sorry, this is how we actually usually are. We just a little more formal. We're a lot more formal in our podcast, but we actually like fuck around like this. So this might be a shocker to some of you. All right, this is what is one of the comments we got on one of our latest videos. So Marcus, if you want to read this one.
Yeah. Should I go on my Jeremy Court? I mean, no, I won't. I'll just read it.
You can just do a dumb voice. I don't care. Whatever you want.
Nope. You should not be identifying as Native Indigenous unless you grew up with the customs, know the language, understand the spirituality and beliefs. You don't pick up a book about rocks, read one book, and call yourself a geologist. It takes time. In due time, as we find our way back to our ancestral connection, we can then say we are native. But right now, we are merely visitors in our relatives' home. Yeah, I disagree with that.
This is really stupid because, okay, I'm part of the Huachachio community for Mexico, right? Our language was basically decimated. Okay, we have like 500 words, and a lot of those we don't know the meaning to. We are trying to literally piece the language together to where we can all relearn it, right, and just speak it, right, revive it. So I like this little checklist bullshit is really stupid. There's a lot of indigenous languages that don't survive. So saying you had to have, and here's another thing. Why is it that you have to have grown up with the customs? Like, what's wrong with being an adult and then going back and learning all that? What is different from that? Like, if you let's say me right now, I've learned a lot of my Huachachio culture now. Okay, and I'm 23. And let's say I'm going to be practicing it for decades to come, right? You know, let's say I'm 45 and I've been practicing my Huachachio culture since I was 23, right? Is that inferior to me having grown up for 15 years with Huachachio culture? Does it really make a difference? The end result's the same. So I think that's kind of stupid to say you had to have grown up in it, you know? That's also dumb. You can learn things past growing up. Like, that's kind of dumb.
And again, he's only being for colonialism. Like he's pushing for us to stay in them, you know, for us south of the US border who are trying to re-indigenize. He's only trying to push us back away from
right. Exactly. And it's just like, it goes back to what New Amauta said in that previous video, where it's like he's putting it in a box, like to where the indigenous experience is only one formula and that's it. Nothing else can exist out of that. Nothing else. So us as indigenous people, we can't have different experiences. If we didn't have this cookie cutter example that he's saying, that we're not indigenous. And that's really stupid for all sorts of reasons. Like I really love New Amauta's point where he was saying that following this type of logic, nobody can be anything. If you're Asian from Korea, you came to the US, well, you didn't grow up in Korea, and you didn't grow up with 100% of the customs and 100% of the language being spoken all the time and understanding everything, like 100% everything. Like, you grew up in the US culturally, so therefore you can't be Korean anymore. And that sounds stupid. Like, that argument is not made. So
another thing is, like, what these people don't understand is that there's obviously people like me who are adopted and don't have any documentation of our family. So
yeah,
even if we want to like find our ancestral lineage, pronounce it right, that's impossible. And I don't care if they don't know that or not. They're just at that point being rude. I don't need to explain to them that. Obviously, the jerk who left that comment that tried to slander us knew that I was adopted, but he still went on and tried to say these like not so nice things about us. And that's a really low blow.
Right. And then there's this false equivalency too, dude. Like, you don't pick up a book about rocks and read one book and call yourself a geologist. That has fucking nothing to do with this. That's not even a good comparison. This is racial identity. Like, this isn't just knowledge, like as in like I read a medical book and I'm calling myself a doctor. That's a stupid comparison. Like, we are racially Native American. We have that blood. We have the ancestry. That's what we are. Like, you can't to say that we aren't, like, to compare it like we're just some like noobs that just picked up something new or something. It's extremely stupid. Like, it makes no logical sense. So I don't know. But yeah, that was really callous of them, because I like, dude, a lot of these haters know. I think they know a lot of your history, Marcus. I mean, if they watch all our videos, which a lot of them do,
Sure they
it's
do.
like they just don't care. They're just callous individuals. They're stupid. So it's just dumb. And one of our supporters commented back, and she was like, she literally spat this statement back in this person's face, was saying, okay, it's like, so you can't identify as Black unless you grew up with customs, know an African language, understand the spirituality and beliefs, and from Africa, basically. So Black people in the U.S. can't be Black, according to this type of logic, if we just replace Indigenous with any other race. Which is, I mean, it's a really excellent point. Like, and this person didn't respond at all. This is funny. It's like about 4 or 5 people jumped on this person. They didn't respond at all. And that's what lets you know it's like, you don't have any substance. You can make these stupid statements, but you don't have any substance. You don't have any counters. That's why you lose every time, because you don't have anything. You don't use consistent logic across everything. And even if a person used consistent logic against us by saying, oh no, all Black people are mulattoes in the US, you know, if they use that type of consistent logic, right? On some level, I would respect that, but I don't even have to do anything, because if they said statements like that, they look stupid. They look like a lunatic saying stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's not like we even have to argue anymore at that point. But that's how far on the losing side you haters are. You just can't win. That's the thing. But anyways, we'll move to the next one. Oh yeah, this is another one. So this guy was this is another video. I think this is one of our early ones, and he was like,
how insecure and how low is the self-esteem of people who clutch their pearls and worry about what other people think of them? Pathetic.
so
I'm gonna feel bad if this guy was talking about like the the mestizos, the so-called mestizos who were talking about like claiming like being Spaniard or something instead. But I'm sure he was talking about us.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know, the context seems like he was talking about us, and then somebody defended us on that, which we think that supporter, by the way. And he didn't respond. So I think if he was talking about like mestizos, he would have been like, hey, why are you attacking me? I meant like, I was like not against one in with Marcus, but he was against us, I'm pretty sure, bro. So it's just stuff like this. And guys, and we don't have like, we haven't like screenshotted all the hateful comments. These are just some of them. We just wanted to show you like that we've had other beef that we just want to keep off the channel that we've had in the past.
Yes, we do for now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's when I responded to that one fucker. So that's pretty much everything we got for you guys. You know, we just wanted to highlight some of these hater comments. This shit's just, it's just freaking dumb, to be honest. It's just really dumb.
It is. No, I agree. I mean, at least I'm not saying like it makes us look good, but it makes us show that the evidence that we prove, the arguments that we make back are very concrete. Evident, like we know what we're saying.
Right.
We have articles and we have people. We have people and tribes, and we have others that support our cases as well. I mean, you can say what you want. It's not going to matter in the long run. Right?
Right. I mean, and like, to some people, like we have, for example, which I mean, I have respect for this guy, this Raramuri guy, right? You might see him in the comment sections from time to time. He brings up legitimate concerns about like, well, would everybody identifying as Native be a threat to the tribes or indigenous sovereignty like in Mexico? And I know he's brought up examples where like mestizos have fucked with indigenous tribes, and that has happened in Mexico. And I feel for that. It sucks. It's complete bullshit. The only thing I can offer that guy is at least just my assurance that we come here with good intentions in our hearts, and all our followers mostly do too. We respect Native American people. We want to help you guys. We think us turning back to our roots will help indigenous nations, even if we're not a part of the Raramuri tribe. We can still help the Raramuri tribe because we can change the government itself. We can change the public perception and image and support you through votes. I just think there can be a lot of benefit gained if most mestizos went back to their native roots, because the way it's divided now, where they think that they're just some other race that's superior, that's what's causing a lot of that discrimination. That's what's causing a lot of that attempt to like fuck with your sovereignty, and like native tribes like the Raramuri and others will always have the right to refuse people from joining the ranks because they have that power, they have that right. You can't just join a tribe unless you are accepted by that tribe. So that will never be threatened. But we're just telling people, racially speaking, embrace the fact that you're Native American. That's what you are. Admire the fact that you got brown skin. This is a beautiful thing. This isn't something to be ashamed of. And that's really the crux of our message. And me and Marcus's mission, at least from what I've always said, is like, we don't see ourselves as like we're like the leaders of like this grand movement or anything. No, we're just trying to get people to wake up to the fact that they're Native, and I think that will help like Native people in general. It'll get more power to them. What is done with that power is kind of out of our hands, but we're just part of getting people to realize that they're Native. That's really why we're doing this.
My voice hurts.
All those British impersonations. Yeah, dude, those messages are long, dude. He wrote like a whole essay, man.
Yeah, no, adding on to what you said though, like we have, we bring in the best intentions that we can to tribes. Like we mean no harm at all. We don't want any benefits. If anything, we want to, give more benefits to the tribes that have been so hurt, and those that I guess you could say disenfranchised over the past. What was it? I think I added it up. 518 years. No. Quite a long time. 5 freaking centuries.
Yeah.
And again, like the treaties that have been lost, we want to be there to support you. And a lot of other things going on right now in the world, well, in the Americas. And I think the movement that we've started, this small movement at the time, we hope to catch up with more speed, and then we'll see where we'll go in the future. But
and I wanted to add, because I think some people get like wrong ideas, like we're not the Mexica movement, we're not like pan-Indianism, which is something which I hate that term too, which is kind of stupid, but we're not really going to get into that. What this is simply is just saying people that are like Native American, they're like close to they have significant ancestry or more, that they're just Native American. That's all there is to this. That's all there, like, that's the whole fucking thing with it. And there's nothing insidious about that. There's nothing underhanded. There's nothing sinister. There's nothing wrong with that. And if that doesn't float your boat and you want to be a pro-conquistador, you like your Spanish side a lot, you want to identify as white, identify as white. I'm not saying you can't identify as white. Go freaking say that. Go do it. 20 million Hispanics already say they're white Hispanics. Go do it. No one's fucking stopping you. No one's ever stopped you, right? But you can't be getting in the way. That's the problem. If you're gonna get in the way, you're gonna get trampled.
Pretty much. And you don't want to get trampled. I'm kidding.
Exactly. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. We thought this would be kind of a funny video. To the haters, we hate you just as much. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.